Chapter 6, Lesson 5, Southern Life. Unlock the big question. I will know that the Southeast is home to cultural traditions that have influenced the nation and the world. Jumpstart Activity. Raise your hand when you hear your teacher call on you. Share a tradition that you have learned from your family. For example, a grandparent might have asked you to help cook a certain kind of food. Vocabulary. Gullah, jazz, folklore, craft, port. Academic vocabulary. Essential perspective. It's May, and you're visiting Memphis, Tennessee. You are there for the city's biggest celebration called Memphis in May. At the Beale Street Music Festival, you hear the best in rock and blues music. Later, you wander over to the World Championship Barbecue Cooking Contest. In one day, you've gotten a wonderful taste of Southeast culture. The culture of the Southeast. As in every region, the Southeast has a special culture. We use the word culture to talk about things like music, painting, dance, literature, and cooking. Whether you are listening to a banjo player or eating barbecue, you're sharing part of the culture of the Southeast. The culture of the Southeast is a rich mix of many traditions. Most people in the region come from English or African American backgrounds. Others have different cultural roots. For example, the Cajuns of Louisiana have French backgrounds. On the Gulf Coast, you may enjoy a Vietnamese meal. In South Carolina, you can hear the Gullah language. The Gullah are African Americans in the Southeast who have kept much of their African heritage. All of these are part of the Southeastern culture. Music in the Southeast. Many of America's favorite kinds of music have their roots in the Southeast. Rock, blues, gospel, bluegrass, country, and ragtime all began or grew up in the region. One unique kind of music that began in the Southeast is jazz. Jazz music was mostly created by African American musicians. The music they played in New Orleans in the early 1900s soon spread to other cities. Rock and roll music was also born in the Southeast. In the 1950s, both African American and white musicians developed this new form of music. Memphis and Nashville, Tennessee were centers of rock and roll. The gospel songs of Southern black churches inspired others. Singers like Aretha Franklin made gospel music popular. Beginning in the 1920s, radio programs broadcast gospel and other music across the nation. Today, the internet brings it to the world. Music in the Southeast has changed over time. For example, electronic instruments like keyboards might be heard in jazz bands today. Cultural traditions. Writers tell the stories of each region. These stories are essential in helping us understand the past and learning how they shaped the present. Diaries like Mary Chestnut's Civil War report one person's perspective. William Faulkner wrote fiction about life in Mississippi. Zora Neale Hurston records the African American experience in her novels. Hurston also made important studies of the folklore of African Americans in the Southeast. Folklore refers to the traditions and beliefs of a group of people. Primary source. When I was a boy on the old plantation, down by the deep bayou, the fairest spot of all creation, under the arching blue, when the wind came over the cotton and corn, to the long, slim loop I'd spring, wild with brown feet bare and the hat brown brim torn, and swing in the grapevine swing. Samuel Mingham Peck, the grapevine swing. The Southeast has a long tradition of crafts. A craft is an object made by hand. In Appalachia, for example, people make musical instruments such as banjos. The quilters of Gee's Bend live in Alabama. Their quilts are in museums today. Sports are an important part of life in the Southeast. One of the most popular is NASCAR racing. NASCAR is the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing. Millions of fans watch the races. Most of the racing teams are based in North Carolina. The New South. A century ago, most people in the Southeast lived in rural areas. Today, most live in cities. Georgia is a good example. In the 1900s, more than 8 out of every 10 people in Georgia lived in the country. Today, about 8 out of every 10 live in cities, and the cities of the Southeast are still growing. The Southeast moved away from an economy based on agriculture. In Birmingham, Alabama, industry grew quickly, crowded with steel mills. It was called the Pittsburgh of the South. Like most other southeastern cities, however, Birmingham is no longer an industrial center. Most people in Birmingham work in service industries today. The city is a leader in medical research and banking. One area of North Carolina called the Research Triangle is also growing quickly. The cities of Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill are there. That's where I grew up, in Wake Forest, Raleigh area. This area is a center for research in medicine, computers, business, and education. In Arkansas, too, service industries lead the economy. Especially important, especially important are businesses that sell things. Arkansas sells everything from automobiles to groceries. Some of the world's biggest service providers are in the Southeast. The headquarters of many communications, technology, and internet companies are in the Northern Virginia. Fast growing cities. Many cities in the Southeast lead the country in population growth. Of the 100 fastest growing United States cities, 16 are in the Southeast. New Orleans. New Orleans, Louisiana, is known for its food and its music. Founded in the early 1700s, the city is a busy port on the Mississippi River. A port is a place where people or goods can enter or leave a country. Large ships move products up and down the Mississippi between the Southeast and the Midwest. Thousands of ocean-going ships connect New Orleans and the world. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina caused a lot of damage to the city. The people of New Orleans survived many challenges as they rebuilt their city. The rebuilding of New Orleans continues today. Charleston. Charleston, South Carolina is one of the Southeast's oldest cities. It was founded in 1670 by English settlers. It is a mix of old and new. Many tourists come to see the colonial buildings and beautiful gardens. Near Charleston Harbor is the South Carolina Aquarium. There, you can see plants and animals from all areas of the state. Also at the harbor is Fort Sumter National Monument. It marks the place where the first shots of the Civil War were fired. Like the rest of Charleston, it is a good place to see how the Southeast has changed. Atlanta. Atlanta, Georgia is one of the leading cities in the Southeast, the capital of Georgia. Atlanta began as a railroad center in the 1830s. Today, Atlanta is still a center of transportation. In fact, it has the world's busiest airport. Atlanta is growing quickly. Shiny new buildings are going up, and new businesses are moving in. Kasim Reed, mayor from 2010 to 2018, helped to make Atlanta one of the top green cities in the United States through a large citywide recycling program. The city is a center of communication and finance. Atlanta is one of the cultural capitals of the Southeast. Now you need to go through, make sure that you do all your reading checks, and you got to make sure that you do your lesson 5 check, numbers 4, 5, and 6.